Welcome back to the channel. Today's lesson is titled The Two Swing Centers. So what are the two swing centers? One swing center is in the middle of our torso, right beneath our breastbone, 2 inches deep, if you say, right in the middle of our body. That's one swing center. The other one is located 2 inches below our navel in the middle of our pelvic region. That's the lower swing center. Now, what do these swing centers sort of look like in action? They're not really organs, so you can't see them, but we know that they're there and we know how they work. And so we'll look at these images here of our big three goats, where the swing centers are when they're in their initial take-back position. Now, the two swing centers are critical to your game in at least two major aspects. The first one is that the two swing centers are the center of our rotational body-driven, body-led swing. And so we're rotating around these two centers in our pelvis and in our chest. And it's got to be a centered turn for us to execute our swing at a high level. The second major thing that two swing centers are important for is your basic orientation and distance from the contact point. So if we're in our athletic stance and we're in the slot like I'm showing you here, and I'm executing my topspin shot on this circular spiraling motion that we've been talking about, let's just call it swing circle because that's how most people refer to it now, this swinging circle, okay? Well, in every circle, there's a radius, the length of the racket in our arm and our body from the contact point at the sweet spot, right? So if I'm at this right distance and I come up at the turn of the swing and into contact and I hit it the way I should, path going very vertical at that point, that's my ideal radius in my swing circle. Well, in order for us to execute that, we have to keep that orientation of the two centers of that circle to swing, in the proper orientation and a stable relationship to that contact point, even if we're moving around the court. We'll get into that. But if we start to move forward with our dominant side, like so many people do, either with their arm or their side, or they're stepping into the ball, what are they saying? See, I've changed the radius of my swing quite dramatically by 3 to 6 or 7 inches. So now I'm going to try to execute the shot with this contact point radically different than the ideal radius that I should be hitting it at. So this can affect us in the sense that we feel too cramped, getting too close to the ball, and then our arms fold up and our whole swing speed and smoothness of this arc is destroyed. Or we move too far back and we feel like we have to reach with our shoulder and arm, and then this becomes an arm-driven and arm-led swing instead of a body-driven swing. So there are major reasons to know more about the two swing centers, and so let's get started. The two swing centers running along this vertical axis of our spine down to our pelvis. So when we're talking about the rotation of both the pelvis as we turn back and coil, that swing center should remain fairly steady in the middle of our body. Even though there's a little bit of movement, it's basically we're turning the pelvis from a centered turn around this point deep in our body. So we're not leaning or going back and forth and all the other things that players do. It's a turn around this slower swing center. And then that's going to be then followed by a bigger turn and coil of the torso, and that swing center stays, the upper one stays here in the middle of our chest. And as we wind and uncoil and keep our posture, and we're swinging up on this path, yes, the swing centers will move slightly. They'll come up as we move up, naturally. But their relationship to the contact point, the distance from it, etc., will remain pretty stable, very stable. And so we're rotating on this axis of our spine, and we're rotating from the centers of these two swing centers in the chest and in the pelvis. So we're feeling the turn, centered turn in our hips, and we're feeling a centered turn in our chest. And this will guide us into the right path and the right kind of stability of contact that we're looking for.